Hi, welcome, and thank you for joining us. So, you know, every week, every Wednesday and Friday, we try to come on and we talk about something interesting, something relevant to the home care space, especially, things that will affect or improve the private pay sector. So, one of the things, if anyone's ever followed me for a while, or if you've taken any of our training courses, the one of the big things that we always talk about is your in group, your influencers network group, and how you need to be able to have, credibility and value and everything else when you're trying to build your business out, especially when you're dealing with facilities. Now, this is really a challenge, especially when we're talking about the mom and pop independent home care owners, because let's be realistic. You just hung your shingle out, you got your license if you're in the right state, and we're talking, you're going to facilities and nobody knows who you are and what is it that you're going to do. How do you be able to build some sort of credibility? Well, one of the things that we talk about and that has tremendous amounts of value is being part of like a larger well-known organization. See, when somebody opens a franchise, they'll pay, 50, 60, 70, $80,000 to
Mm.
get the name. So you're getting certain support, you're getting certain benefits from that. Like mainly your biggest benefit is if it's a large enough national brand, you're gaining some name recognition, and with that comes, trust and authority and everything else in the community. So, what do you do as an independent? Well, you go out, you join Chamber of Commerce, you join the American Home Care Association, you join your home care association of whatever state you're in. You look into local groups, networking events, partner up, or there's other options out there. So these today we are fortunate enough to have Sarah Barker of the Independent Home Care Alliance. Right? Did I get that right? I hope I
You
got
sure did get it
it
right. Thank you so
right.
much, Julio, for having me on today as a guest. You're
Right.
absolutely correct. It's the Independent Home Care Alliance.
All right, all right. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about, her experience. She's got a tremendous amount of experience in marketing and in the home care industry. She's a veteran, one of us, and
Well,
here we are. And let's see, let's talk about this. So tell us a little bit about you, about your background, and what exactly is this alliance and how does it benefit?
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. So, as you said, Julio, I have a military background, and then I was working full time for the Army National Guard after 9/11 through some activations and then full time positions with the Guard.
Mhm.
And then when I started getting into the civilian sector, it was in sales. I've sold advertising and payroll. But then in 2012, I found myself in the elder care space because a good friend of mine recognized I was studying to be an investment banking representative. I was never able to get excited about payroll, but this attorney friend of mine saw a job opening and said, Sarah, I think you might like this, because I was searching for that higher meaning, sense of
Yeah.
purpose, but it was a sales role. So, right, I could make enough money to survive in San Diego at the time. So I immediately fell in love with it because you really are making an impact for the elders in our
Hmm.
society. And not only an impact for the elders, but for their family members as well. And then you also get to support other professionals in their role. So, for example, the estate planning attorney, let's say, or the private fiduciary, elder care is not their lane, right? And so you can
Hmm.
become a part of that advisory circle, right? And be that advisor when it comes to elder care options. And so you're really helping to elevate them in their roles as well. Same thing with maybe the discharge planner at a SNF, right? They have a lot on their plate. So if you can just handle
Right.
that and kind of take some of the overwhelm. So
Hmm.
it's win-win all the way around. Then I did start my own company, Connect Our Elders, and basically what it's overall working with the family to understand the whole situation and identify every single type of resource they might need and connect them with those resources, but stay involved as that sounding board, right?
Hmm.
wasn't looking for a position. I was connected with Kanu Kashal, the founder of the Independent Homecare Alliance, by Jeremy Fuller of Grow Homecare Marketing. As soon as I read the website for the Independent Homecare Alliance, I immediately knew I need to get on board with this mission. I believe so strongly in the vision, which is basically to level the playing field for the independent, non-franchise caregiving agency owner. And so the Independent Home Care Alliance is a membership-based organization. We have 4 offerings, so 3 membership levels and then our higher level offering. And so what we do is we meet agencies where they are currently and their growth. We get an understanding of where they want to be, right? And then we discuss which level is right for you right now and what is going to be the track to get you to where you want to be. And this industry, this association is different from the other ones that exist because we are only working with agencies that have already started. They're operating, and we're only dealing with independently owned agencies.
And that's actually awesome because, like as I said in the intro a little bit here, as an independent agency owner, unless you have been around for, 5, 10, 15 years, and you've got that solid relationship in the community, it's really hard to build credibility. And, and you might be known in one community, like let's just, take Nashville, Tennessee. You might be well known in Nashville, and you might want to open a second office 20 miles away, and there you're just not known. So to build that credibility, organizations like this really, it's the more well known they become, the more, since you guys have that strict criteria that you have to be open and operating, for a fixed amount of time, that really helps establish in the community what's going on. And now you guys do some other interesting stuff like training and networking also, right?
We absolutely do. So we are supportive. We want to collaborate with the other associations that exist. For example, Home Care Association of America, their focus is, lobbying and advocacy. We're not ever going to be in DC, focused on advocacy. So we encourage our members to be members of those associations. So really what we are is a membership-based organization that is going to support these agencies' growth, as I said.
Right.
And, first of all, it's important to be a part of a professional association because you get that continuing education and the professional development, right? The mentoring programs and mastermind groups with your peers, so that way you can gain new perspectives when it comes to certain struggles that you're experiencing. Also, as you said, networking opportunities. You've mentioned it a couple of times already, branding yourself and your company. And sometimes we're working with agencies to say, what is your brand? Are you even yet clear on what your brand is? Or maybe you think it's this, but what do you want it to be? And then, of course, best practices and alignment with standards of quality, right? And so through our offerings, we are focusing on these. Now, as you can see, there are different levels. And so it depends on where the agency is. And we wanted to make sure that it was accessible to these companies. Do you want me to briefly talk about the levels?
Yeah, if you could, like what, because one of the things that I'm noticing just looking at your site here, when somebody gets a lot of the stuff that you have on here with like a franchise, they've paid, 50, 60, 70,000. I mean, I come from the world of franchising, so I understand very clearly what some of these fees are and what they actually get for their money. Bringing that into the independent owner space, that's a big deal. So let's definitely go over some of what you guys bring to the table.
Awesome. So when people are a member of our organization, it doesn't matter what level they're a member at. We are at no time taking equity or ever looking to change an agency's culture. We want to support them, right? And help them hyper focus on that culture and make it even better. So, the basic level membership is a seal of approval, right? You've been vetted. We say that you're operating legally, of course, and also you're operating from best practices. That doesn't mean that we're not going to work with them and make their best practices even better, because we know from industry experts as well as other owners what's really working well for them, so on and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
The basic level membership, any member of the Independent Home Care Alliance gets that group purchasing power. So we have many vendors, right, where we have aggressively negotiated discounts on those services. This might be too blunt for the audience. I hope not, because I feel like it's real. So there seems to be this thought that the owner that owns a franchise, right? Well, I had to buy this franchise, so of course I would get discounted services to run my business. Well, you need to stop and think. Did that independent caregiving agency owner not have to pony up some capital to get their agency going, right? And now they're having to pay full price for the services, and they're having to create their policies and procedures and everything from scratch. So that's where I say we're leveling the playing field in one aspect, right? Access to services to run the business at a reasonable cost. So we've aggressively negotiated those. All of our education is included in the membership. So it's not that you pay for the membership and then you have to pay additionally for the webinars, right? It's included. Also, we have the IHCA web store where there's all the collateral, brochures, Post-it notes, pens, everything really. And so because it's in-house, we are already basically getting the stuff at cost. And so we're able to offer that to our members, right?
Yeah, and that's actually, sorry to cut you off a little bit here, but that's actually a very interesting point. Because again, with my own experience having worked with both independents and franchises for a number of years, the cost for an independent is sometimes actually higher to get started than it is for a franchise. Because like you said, you get the business in a box when you're buying a franchise. Whether it's worth the money or not, that's on an individual perspective. Some will say, some will wholeheartedly agree, some will not, but that's a matter of opinion. But at the end of the day, you still have to pay to have your policies and procedures done. You have to pay to get all of your paperwork in order. You have to pay the consultants to help get become compliant with regulation. And if you're in like one of the states, like Arizona or Iowa or Ohio or even New York or Massachusetts, where regulation's a little quirky, like you don't necessarily need it for private pay, you know, this is important. This is very important because you'll have too many other people that will just hang their shingle out. They're trying to do this on, with $5 and a dream, and now it waters down the credibility of anyone who isn't a franchise. So being associated with an organization it's very important.
So that brings me to our tagline, right? Which is locally owned, nationally strong, right? So creating that unified voice, but also these unified best practices for the independent owner, because we want the consumers across the nation to understand that your quote unquote mom and pops are equally qualified, right? And provide a high level of service. It's just oftentimes, right, because the larger companies have the money and the marketing budget for the advertising and stuff. And I just know from personal experience over the years that many times the families prefer to work with that actual locally owned business. And so, just creating that unification. They're still locally owned, they maintain their culture, they make their decisions, but we're creating that national strength through this alliance.
Yeah, yeah, and that's like I said, that is that's actually a very good point, because even when introducing yourself into a new community, regardless, that's one of the big things you have to do. You're never new. You're always expanding into the community. That's kind of the approach you want to take. So having that ultra local presence with some sort of a structure that does give you the national backing, yeah, that's very important. I relate being part of organizations such as, like we mentioned already, the Home Care Association and the Home Care Alliance, like you guys. It's very important. Again, especially in the limited license or no license required states for private pay, I equate it to like getting accreditation and getting any other training or certification. Like taking the Alzheimer's seminar so that your staff is CDP. So making sure that what you guys are doing on that if you're part of the Home Care Alliance, if you're part of the Home Care Association, it's more that you can walk in to talk to that case manager, to talk to that elder law attorney, to talk to that that discharge planner, to that geriatric care manager, and not just say, hey, yeah, I'm Bob from down the street. You can say, look, I'm a legitimate business here to do the legitimate work to help progress the well-being of our seniors.
Absolutely. And so that makes me think of our education offerings. So I came on board with the Alliance in August, and we started rolling out IHCA Power Hours. It's educational webinars, right?
Right.
So it's been a wide spectrum. I mean, we had the former district attorney on elder abuse from San Diego as an educator that talked about how do you identify potential elder abuse and what do you do when you do identify it, and how can you better protect your clients, because lots of times it's a family member. So how do you train your caregivers to be able to pick up on those cues, and what should they do? So, that's one example. And then we've had one of our preferred relationships from Hub International come in and educate on how do you know if you're getting a good rate on your workman's comp, and if you're not, what do you do to fix that? And so all of this is of high value, especially to the independent owner that may not be getting this information otherwise. Right. And what I'm really excited about is that our education, so somebody, the owner, right, signs up to be a member of the Alliance, that membership is for the company. So if we're doing education, let's say let's go with marketing and business development, right? They can have their marketers attend that education. The benefits of the Alliance are for the entire independent caregiving agency.
That's excellent.
We realize we can support the owner, but we really need to be supporting the other people in the company at the same time, so that way they all rise.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a benefit that you guys definitely that you guys offer. Office support, and that's one other thing that I would say. I'm actually doing another part of our educational videos here on franchising versus independence. So yeah, but that's hitting the nail right on the head, because that's another one of the great benefits of being part of a franchise that now they can get as an independent owner. That office support, that's critical, especially for growing the business.
Let's talk about content, for example. So I knew from experience with working for an independent company, right? And it kept being said, oh, we really need to have a newsletter. Oh, we really need to do some social media. We really need a blog, right?
Right.
Well, everybody's really busy. And, you can, of course, farm that work out. And there are viable options for that. But sometimes for the independent company, they're not, let's say, I had gotten a quote at one point, $750 a month for a newsletter. Maybe they're not quite ready to do that. So how do we make it so that way they can get the content as part of their branding? So, in the growth level membership, so everybody has an understanding. These levels build on each other. So the basic, you get all of what I've already mentioned and it's listed there. But if you choose the growth, you get everything that's in basic plus what's in growth, which is if you want to refresh your logo or get a new logo. We have in-house graphic designers, right, to do that. And then we have the Elevate monthly marketing kit, Julio, which I consider my baby. It's so exciting. So it's a monthly newsletter that's branded to the company, plus your social media graphics with the blurb. And so that way they can have that content that they know they need, right, to have a presence. And that's all included in the membership. And it's accompanied by a training. That's the thing. So they're not just getting the content. There's training that teaches them how do you position that content with various types of referral sources.
Right. Good. That's definitely important. An important feature there. Yeah. Because again, it builds credibility. If you're walking in with all of this, you have your branded content, you have your established reason to walk in the door. That's actually one of the things that I do talk about quite a bit. You know, great. You walked in, you established a relationship, you said hi, you got somebody to talk to you. Now what? How do you keep coming back? Because that actually is I'm going to say, in the years I've been doing this, it's probably the number one problem and the number one reason why home care marketing fails. People can't think of a reason to come back. They have their 5 or 6 visits and then they're like, okay, great.
Well,
Now,
it starts getting awkward, right? So
yeah, yeah.
this is exactly the, sort of the impetus for developing this kit. So, we call it the Elevate Marketing monthly marketing kit, but I've
Mhm.
toyed around with the idea of, it's basically a monthly business plan in a
Right.
box. If you want to use it that
Mhm.
way. So for the owner who's doing the marketing, or maybe they're hiring a new marketer, right? Because you have the topic, you have, basically from the newsletter, but then you've got your weekly focus point. It gives
Mhm.
them something to go,
Right.
because you're absolutely right. Because I used to do that, right? You just keep
Mhm.
stopping by. Well, eventually it feels a little awkward. Well, at least now
Right.
they
Right.
have a guided approach.
Right. Yeah, that's that's something that is something that I actually work with some of my own private clients on. That just, hey, you have to have this plan. You got to build it out. You can't just walk in blind every time, because how many times are you going to ask, how's your census? You know, I mean, after a while, they're just going to look at you and say, okay, listen, I haven't given you a client yet. Go away.
Right, right.
Yeah, you have to build that relationship, and understanding how to do it, how to put it together, and having something that's based on the calendar. It's fantastic.
You
You
need
know,
to understand what your objective is, and you need to
right,
understand what they need, right? Stop
right,
assuming that
hmm,
you know what your referral partners need.
right,
You need to have an objective, but you also need to be prepared with some open-ended questions and have the flexibility. So, right, when I'm working with people and the owners, you have your primary objective and you have your
hmm,
secondary objective, because too
exactly,
often, and this is what's included, right, with this marketing kit training
right,
every month. Because if you, lots of times, if they don't hit the primary objective, I say, right, they walk away.
yeah,
Right. And
oh
so
yeah,
they already drove there, right? Why waste that opportunity? But if you're
yep,
prepared with maybe what your secondary objective is, you keep pushing forward.
yeah, oh, absolutely, absolutely. That it's I've read it somewhere a while ago. If Plan A doesn't work, there's still 25 more letters in the alphabet.
I've
Yeah.
never heard that before.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic. But yeah, that is definitely part of the marketing plan, part of your strategy, part of your overall growth. And that's definitely a um big part of it, and it's a huge benefit. I mean, I'm going to tell you, like, that's not $150 a month is cheap for that.
So my question to people, right, when I've been having the one-on-one discussions, I truly don't believe that amount of value, right? So you get everything in basic, and then
Mhm.
all that you see listed in growth. I truly don't know where they'll find that, because I
Oh,
did some market research before I came on board. And
yeah.
the other question always is, let's look at your marketing budget and where have you been spending your dollars?
Yeah.
Where have you been spending your dollars for the last 3 years, and it's not reaped any results?
Right.
Maybe it's time to adjust.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that strategic planning element is definitely, the analysis, understanding what is, what is your ROI per marketing visit, and really getting down to the dollar and cents of it. It's really a big deal. And I'm going to tell you, like, it's like we've said, I do consulting services. That's the big part of what my business is. I can tell you 150 a month is a gift.
Mhm. I'm
It's a
really
gift
excited
just
about it.
just for one of those services. It's fantastic.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm.
I think, and you can see, I don't want to sit here and just like be pitching the levels.
Yeah.
Obviously, the audience can see the next level is the performance level.
Mhm.
And like I already said, they build on each other. So at the performance level, you get everything in basic, everything that's in growth. But that's where we start doing the monthly mastermind meetings, that are 90 minutes, and they're matched with peers. And
Right.
so we're matching people based on revenue because the company that's at $6 million and then the company that's at, let's say, trying to reach $1 million, they're having different struggles, right? Different
Very
focuses. And
different.
so, yeah, so we're matching them up with peers. And then, at this level, you get a custom quarterly flyer. Again, we have in-house graphic designers, in-person training opportunities, so on and so forth.
Yeah. So, and you guys do conferences, I see, and in-person opportunities for when that they can go to locally. I guess you guys do traveling conferences.
We will, yes,
Mhm.
that is slated for 2022. So we decided, it was very exciting. Canoe, he's fantastic. If you've not connected with Canoe on LinkedIn, I highly suggest that you do. Very, very intelligent, innovative, exciting to work with, right?
Right.
Because of how we're thinking about the industry now and this alliance. So these conferences that you're talking about, it was kind of a last minute decision, and they keep growing in size. So we launched the first one in November, the IHCA Executive Workshop. And what it is a guided audit for the owner through their business. So that way they can clearly identify, one, what's going well, because we want to celebrate the wins, right?
Right.
But really, where are their issues and what exactly do you need to do to address that issue? And so it's not a raw, get all super motivated. It's a working workshop, right? The name workshop. And so we did one in November, December, and we actually are doing one this Friday, and it's the largest one yet. We will be doing larger conferences focusing on 35 to 50 people starting in February. And that's going to be more of the educational, where we bring in our preferred vendors to talk about trends in the industry. And so we'll do a bigger conference, and then we're still going to be doing the smaller workshops in the next month. So every other month, right? We'll do one of each.
Fantastic. So yeah, so if anyone's watching this and they're interested on learning more, they can go to indhca.org. There's links all over, and definitely check this out. Reach out to Sarah on LinkedIn. We will put a link to her LinkedIn profile on there. And listen, don't miss out on this opportunity. I'm going to tell you, as I work with a lot of agencies, franchise and independents, one on one. No one is going to give you these prices. All right, I'm probably shooting myself in the foot for saying it, but I can tell you for a fact, no one that actually knows what they're doing, no one that actually knows what they're talking about. And I've had conversations with Sarah. Believe me, they know what they're talking about, and no one's going to give you these prices. All right. And again, just the benefit that comes from being tied to a national organization. It's huge. This is why we always do encourage Homecare Association. Independent Homecare Alliance is now on that list of places that we're going to be recommending to places. Chamber of Commerce. Anything that establishes that local authority, that recognition, that shows that you're not some scam artist that just put the shingle out and that's hoping for the best. It tells your referral partners. It shows to the local community that you're serious, that you're professional, and that's the key thing. That you are a professional organization. So no matter how bad your caregivers might screw up, it's how you handle it. And being part of an organization shows that you know how to handle it. All right. So thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we move along?
Well, I appreciate all of your endorsement of the Independent Home Care Alliance. I sincerely do, Julie. I really appreciate the fact that you have a philosophy of collaboration, because I do firmly believe that if we support each other, right, that we will all grow.
Oh, absolutely.
So we didn't touch on Powered Partner. We can talk about that right now, Julia, or
Yeah, you can go ahead.
we can
By
go
all
ahead and do
means.
it another session.
No, however you would like. I mean, if you want, we definitely have times if you want to touch on it, and we can come back and expand on it
Okay.
another time.
So I'll just do surface level with
Mhm.
the Powered Partner. So the Powered Partner offering does have criteria. So Powered Partner is for the independently owned agency that's been in operation for 3 years, and has reached $1 million or more in revenue. So really, the Power Partner is for those agencies that do not want to be stuck in the mundane, stressful tasks, right? They really just want to hyper focus on the marketing, getting the clients,
Right.
and staffing the clients and providing good service, right? And so what Power Partner is BPO. It's business process outsourcing. That's where the alliance with these agencies, hence Power Partner,
Hmm.
we come in and we do the recruiting, we do the onboarding, we do all the payrolling and the accounting. Okay. And so
Hmm.
when our clients or our members are at the Power Partner, they get everything that's in those other levels. We're actually doing the work in those areas that I've mentioned.
Oh, wow.
And we don't take equity for that. We're not changing the culture. They still make the decisions.
Right.
It's basically if they don't want to hire a full-time recruiter, right? Let's
Hmm.
say, for
Right.
example,
Right.
if they come on the Power Partner with us, we have 26 full-time employees, right, that are focused on those areas. So it's a phenomenal option for those agencies that
Yeah.
want to
That.
scale and minimize risk
Mhm.
while they're
And
scaling.
that is fantastic. Just because, I mean, one of my philosophies is always, you went into business to be independent, so you should not create a job. And if you don't like doing something, find someone who does. And that,
Mhm.
because that's really the core essence of entrepreneurship. We all want freedom and independence. This is why we go into business, because we don't want somebody else telling us what to do or how to do it. So why did you go into business? Just to chain yourself to a desk doing a bunch of work you hated to do at the job that you had before you went into business?
Yeah.
So that this is actually a fantastic option, for someone who's at that level, that's finally, they've made their bones, they've earned that, they've earned their freedom. Like they can finally enjoy their business, they can enjoy the fruits of their labor, and have that type of a resource available. Now,
Mhm.
one last thing, would you mind if I show your vendors list so that people can see where, who you guys work with, and so they can, you know,
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. It's not, it does not have nearly all of
no,
the ones that we actually have
it's
right
just
now.
a taste, a sampling
Yeah.
of some of the people that you guys are going to get deals with, and some of the buying power that they have. You know, these, you know, these companies are fantastic. I'm actually familiar with a number of them, and to be able to get group purchasing power, and to be able to work with discounts on some of these, it's fantastic. It's just overall a good investment. And again, just from a marketing perspective, okay, from a business building and marketing perspective, you're shooting yourself in the foot if you're not part of some sort of organization, especially as an independent home care owner. You're fighting against branded credibility, especially if you're in an area that has a lot of the bigger names in franchising. It really helps to have this level of credibility. All right, so thank you so much again, Sarah, for being on the show, and for talking to some of our audience. And just go and check it out. And definitely set up a call, or just ping Sarah there on LinkedIn, and start that conversation, get things going, see if you guys are a good fit, and if they're a good fit for you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Julio. I really appreciate this opportunity. And I know everybody else at the Independent Home Care Alliance does as well.
All right, fantastic. So thank you for joining us, and please remember to share this with anyone that would appreciate this information, or that could benefit from hearing about this information. And if you're watching the replay of this live event on YouTube, or listening to the audio on our podcast, don't forget to give us a like and follow us for more great information on how to grow your home care business. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.